Well, howdy.
Howdy.
Like he said, my name is Jacob Robinson, and I'm honored to be with you today. I love being in this room or the room next door with individuals like you. My wife and I, let's see here, well, perfect, love it, awesome, thank you, let's see, boom, yep, got it. My wife and I, we're huge tennis fans. We love all things tennis, all right? We play tennis, we're not that good, but we play tennis, but we are obsessed with watching tennis. If you come to my house right now, there's like a 95% chance there's gonna be tennis on the TV. And what I equate speaking to you today is a lot like a tennis player. If a tennis player wants to start to feel really good about themselves, they're gonna duck down a level, right? They're gonna go play a challenger tournament. If they're a pro, they're gonna whoop up on everybody, and then it's gonna be easy, right? And then they may work themselves back into the pro circuit, and then the Grand Slams, right? And that's where you're found out how good you actually are. This room to me is a Grand Slam room. If I wanna feel really good about myself and feel really good about being an entrepreneur and like that I know what I'm talking about, I go talk to college kids. Right? They're going to believe everything I say, right? Every now and then they may have listened to a podcast and they're going to float a question out there they think they know the answer to, and then we can shut it down real fast, right? But then when I come and speak to you, I'm going to be honest with you. You scare me a little bit, right? Because at the end of the day, we're going to get through this presentation. The one thing that I love is the Q&A part of this. And that's where I've got to be on my toes, right? So this room, I love being in this room. It makes me level up. It makes me come prepared. It makes me a little challenged, and I like that. So thank you for letting me be here today to speak to you on this exciting week for you. Congratulations, by the way. What you're embarking on is a huge milestone. Some of you are here today because you don't know where to go next, right? You're like, well, I'm just going to check the next box, right? Some of you are here at a critical point in your career where you know you need this title and this degree and this next step. Some of you are going to be in the middle of this journey and have a hard pivot. You just don't know it yet. And so congratulations on starting this fun journey, this not easy journey that you're about to embark on. You couldn't pay me to do what you're doing, all right? And so it's also a good reminder to come and talk to you, because anytime I get this inkling at home where I'm like, should I go get my MBA? Then I come and sit here and I'm like, no, I'm good. So it's always a good reminder for me to come here too. I come back home a little bit more grounded where we want to go. So today, again, when I go around, I'm blessed to get to go tell our story all around the country, and there's 2 time slots that I don't like to talk. Right before your breakfast and right during the lunch hour, because everybody just wants you to shut up, right? And so they can go eat. I'm conscious, I'm cognizant of that. I know what time it is. I'm gonna get you to your food, I promise, all right? If you're so hungry you need to duck out, you're not gonna hurt my feelings, all right? So I know what time it is. We're gonna move through this. I'm gonna be on time, and then I'm gonna do Q&A, and I'm gonna be here as long as you want me to be here, all right? I've gotta pick my daughter up from camp at 4, all right? So I'm committed to being here today. But when I would go around the country and I talk to different groups and I would speak to different groups, what was happening in my talk is I would leave and people would either reach out to me afterwards, they'd call me, they'd email me, or they'd wait for me afterwards and they would talk, and I would find out that I was actually stressing them out, all right? That's not why I'm here today. I'm not here to stress you out. So what I started to do is implement ground rules for my talk. So the ground rules today for my talk are pretty simple. I need you to be you. I don't need you to be the person to your right or your left. I don't need you to be me. I don't need you to be your boss. I don't need you to be the founder that you want to be, the podcast that you listen to. If we're going to communicate today and we're going to talk to each other today and we're going to have an honest Q&A session at the end of this, I need you to be you. My commitment to you today is I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to be me. I'm going to tell you all the ups and the downs and everything in between, as long as you are you, right? So I talk about often this imaginary scale or this spectrum in life, right? So over here, we're going to talk about it in a second, but you've got my beautiful, amazing, highly intelligent wife who hates change, super risk adverse, CPA, right? From Texas A&M, right? Whoop. But if I tell her our daughter is going from kindergarten to first grade next year, oh, that's a lot of change. We know it's coming and it's still too much change, right? So we got over here, and these people are amazing. And you need them in your organization. If you're them, and that's you, I need you to be you. Over here on this spectrum, you've got, on this far opposite side, you've got people like me. If I'm doing the same thing 2 days in a row, pluck my eyeballs out. It's gonna be awful, right? And so you got this whole gamut in between. And what happens in today's society is we listen to podcasts or YouTube or Instagram, whatever it may be, and we're inundated a lot of times by people like me who just grab the microphone and don't shut up, right? And so what happens for individuals like my wife or you, or if you're anywhere else on this spectrum, you go, man, I don't know if I have it. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know, and whatever it may be. And same over here, when I see the stability in some of my friends and I see, man, they just crushing their job. They did that for 15, 20 years and they just climbed the ladder and they crushed it. Then I go, man, I wish I could be them. And what we do is we are constantly wishing we could be the other one. And today I need you to be you. How the good Lord has designed you and wired you to be, that's how I need you to listen to this talk today. So this talk is applicable if you're my wife. This talk is applicable if you're me, and hopefully it's applicable for everybody in between. So those are the ground rules as we start today, all right? I talked about my family real quick. We're gonna talk about them a lot today. That's my beautiful, amazing wife. We met at Texas A&M. We're class of 2011. So there we go. So I don't know if that's young or old for you, whatever. It's 2011. That's when we graduated. We met freshman year. I came into college convinced I was not going to date anybody, right? You got to play the field, obviously, right? The odds are not in my favor to play the field, all right? So because she hates, I always tell her, the only reason we're married is because she hates change so much. And after we went on our first date, she just didn't want to tell me she didn't want to go on a second date. And so she's just stuck with me. And so we started dating freshman year. We got married right after school. We have confirmed that we did break up for somewhere senior year for about 15 to 20 minutes. We are both pretty confident because I said something stupid. And by the time she decided she was going to drive home, we had already fixed the problem. So we did break up for 15 minutes and got back together. But we got married in 2012. And she is my best friend. We actually just celebrated our anniversary, and we did the math. If you combine the dating and marriage, we have been together exactly half of our lives. And so that's been pretty fun for us. We've got 3 amazing kids. My oldest there, Pierce, he's at the bottom in the wheelchair. We're going to talk a lot about him today. He's 11. My beautiful, amazing daughter, Annie, is 6. She would tell you 6 and a half, not 6, 6 and a half. And she's amazing. I can't wait to see what she grows up to do. She's all things sports, all things arts and crafts, and all things school. So like she's just kind of all over the place and loves them all equally. And so I can't wait to see what she grows up to be. She is, besides my wife, she is the leader of the household. She runs the organization at all times. And then my youngest there, Spencer, he's 2, almost 3. I think he's just starting to like me, so that's fun. So he's very much a mama's boy, but we're getting there. We're getting there. And so he's an amazing final addition to our family. And then what's not pictured here is my wife and I last year, we were in New York. That's our favorite place to go. Don't ask me why. People are like, I don't want to go to New York. We love it. All right, we love it. And so we go there. And so we were there last September. It was one morning we were sitting in Central Park. We were enjoying just this nice morning in the city. We had our coffee and our bagel, and we were watching all these very athletic people run by, and it was super inspiring and all this kind of stuff. And everybody that came by had a dog. And so somewhere in the morning, she's like, should we get a dog? And I was like, yeah, we should get a dog. Like, that sounds a fantastic idea. Let's get a dog. That sounds amazing. And so we have now a 1-year-old golden retriever that is not small by any stretch of the imagination. So our house is just crazy. And so somebody the other day said, how's it going? I said, we need school to start. That's where we're at. We need school to start for everybody's sake right now. But that's us. We live in Katy. We live right down the road here, down I-10. And so we've been in Houston ever since we graduated school. She did public accounting for a while, and I've done a whole host of things. But we have been in Katy ever since. So today, I want to tell you our story, and I've got 3 points that I want to leave you with today. And as we go through this today, again, as we go back to what I said at the beginning, my challenge is I want you to be vulnerable with yourself. There is not going to be a share time after this. There's not going to be a, hey, what did you think about? No, this is just between you and yourself. So as we navigate today, that's what I want to lead you with. So today, my first point, dare to dream. It's free. Mike Tomlin, the former coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's got a quote. He says, when we were kids, we dreamed wildly. As we grow up, we dream realistically. We shouldn't. I got where I am today by being a ridiculous dreamer. Listen, life happens, right? Sometimes we acknowledge when we give up on our dreams. Sometimes we don't acknowledge it when we give up on our dreams. But we have created a habit as we've gotten older of giving up on dreams, right? Again, some good, some not so good. Somewhere along the way, I did have to realize that the dream of me being a professional baseball player was not valid. That's okay, right? Like, that dream dies. Then you get to college and you realize, oh man, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and then somewhere along the way this happens and you go, okay, maybe not that dream anymore, but that's okay, I'm going to go down this path. As we get older, we say we're going to do this or we're going to do that, and then we come up with a good excuse and we don't do that and we don't do this, and so dreams just start to die. What happens is we look up later in life and we realize we don't dream about anything. Everything is either just a realistic expectation or a pessimistic expectation. And we've forgotten this art of crazy, wild dreams because our jobs have beat it out of us, our families, and I mean that in a good way, have beat it out of us, right? Our friends have beat it out of us, life has beat it out of us, whatever it may be has beat those crazy dreams out of us. And so we just go, you know what, I'm good. I'm good. And so as we go today, I need you to re-tap into that childhood mentality. As you embark on this new journey that you're on, I need you to dream crazy dreams. I tell people all the time, the dream that I need you to dream, that idea that's percolating around in your mind, and again, whatever it may be, maybe to go start a new company, maybe just I want this job, or I want to be a better spouse, or a better parent, or a better friend. I don't care what the dream is. It doesn't have to just be work and money related. But that dream that you're thinking about right now, the dream that I want you to dream is if I were to call on you right now, and I were to ask you to say it out loud, at the last second, you change it. Because you're just that nervous to say it out loud. That's what I need you dreaming about. Life has a way of forcing us into making a decision sometimes about our dreams. That's what happened to us. Pierce, my oldest, as I told you, he was born in 2015. Happy, healthy baby boy. Life was good, right? He was born in May 2015. We were living in town. We were figuring it out. Melissa was working at a big real estate company in town. I had a commercial cleaning company that I had just started, and life was good, right? It was tough, right? New business, trying to figure out being a new parent, right? You hear all the time, like, you just don't sleep, so you think that's normal, so you just don't sleep, right? And you're like, why are they still crying? You know, right? All of those things as a new parent. Then by the time your second or third come around, you're like, why did we do that? That was a crazy strategy. But that was us, figuring life out. We had just moved to Katy. Her parents live in Katy. I have amazing in-laws, and so we were getting closer to them. They were helping us watch Pierce as we both worked and try to figure out this new life. 2017, he was almost 2 years old, comes around February. On a Wednesday, he got sick. That's fine. Kids get sick, right? If you've got kids, you know kids get sick, right? And then what happens is you all get sick, right? But kids get sick, right? They get colds, they get stomach bugs, whatever it may be. He got sick on a Wednesday. It's kind of our first time dealing with him being sick, right? So Melissa, amazing mother that she is, took him to the doctor. Doctor says, yeah, kids get sick. No harm, no foul. Give him some meds, some Tylenol. He'll be good to go. If he's still got a fever in a couple days, come on back. Thursday, he gets a little bit better. It's great. Friday, he gets worse again. She takes him back into the doctor, and the doctor says, hey, listen, same old. His lungs sound good, heart's good, all that kind of stuff. He just needs rest. Just let him rest. If he still has a fever on Monday, come on back. Got it. She goes home. I come home. I was on a work trip. I come home that afternoon. And one of those things that they tell you if you're going to be a parent and you don't really believe it till you see it, you can identify in your kid what we call sick eyes, right? You see it, you're like, oh, you don't feel good, or it's coming, right, and distance yourself, right? All of those things, those sick eyes. And so when I walked through the door, we looked at each other, and we looked at him, and we said, well, something's wrong. His eyes, he's gone. Like, he doesn't just have sick eyes, he's gone. So let's go to the ER. So we get in the car, we load up, we go to the ER right outside our neighborhood, kind of one of those little freestanding ERs. We go in, we say, hey, something's wrong. Help us figure out what's wrong. They run some tests and x-rays and come back. Hey, we agree with your doctor. He's good to go. I'll never forget, they handed us a blue bottle of Pedialyte. They said he just needs to drink that. He just needs the liquids, hydration, and rest. You'll be good to go. Okay? We've checked every box we can, right? We've seen all the doctors, we've gone to the ER, we go home, we put them to bed. February 4th, 2017, I can tell you everything about that morning. I can tell you what the weather was like outside. I can tell you what I was wearing. I can tell you what Melissa was wearing. I can tell you what I was watching on TV. I can tell you where I was sitting. I can tell you everything about that morning. About 8:30 rolls around and Melissa says, there's something wrong. He's sleeping too long, right? That mother's intuition kicks in. She says, I'm gonna go check on him. Sure. She goes into his room and I hear a scream that I can still hear today. I can still hear that scream. I hope to never hear it again in my life, but she comes running out and she's holding Pearson. When I say he was limp, I need you to think movie limp, like just no life in him. Eyes roll back in his head. She comes out screaming. We just look at each other. We go straight to the car. I still don't even have shoes on. We get in the car. We speed back to that ER. I run into that ER and I remember just screaming, keep him alive. Please just keep him alive. They're a great ER, but they weren't prepared for this, right? They're there for broken bones and rolled ankles and all that kind of stuff on a Saturday morning. They start just pumping him full of different drugs, trying to get his eyes just to come back. Call an ambulance. The ambulance takes us to Texas Children's West Campus, right out here in Katy. We get there. They take us right back to the trauma room. They're just trying to keep him alive. They go and they do an X-ray or CT scan. I went in there with Dr. Shenoy. I'll never forget it. He looked up on a screen just like this. I remember him looking at it, and he looked at me, and he goes, it's not good. We need to get down to the med center right now. So he calls. They call an ambulance. If you know anything about Texas Children's Hospital, actually, I hope you don't know this, but if you do know this, they have an elite ambulance transport team called the Kangaroo Crew. I always tell people, I get choked up talking about them. I always tell people, if you work at Texas, I'm biased, all right, for the record, I'm biased. If you work at Texas Children's Hospital, in my mind, you're a Navy SEAL. You're the best of the best. See stuff all the time, crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy stuff. You're a Navy SEAL. If you're on the Kangaroo Crew, you're SEAL Team 6. You're an elite ICU transport team that goes and gets the sickest, toughest kids from around the world, and you bring them back to hopefully give them life-saving care. The same is true about the Kangaroo Crew as it is the real SEAL Team 6. You never want to see them, right? If you see them, something's gone wrong, right? And you don't want to be around them. They come in, and I'll never forget Tony. Tony came up, he put his arm around me, he said, hey, Dad, I'm Tony, I'm in charge now. I said, okay, great. He said, we're going to need to get Pierce down to the med center, okay? What's going to happen is Mom's going to ride in the ambulance with me. You're going to ride in the car with your parents. Do you understand what I'm saying? I need you to follow us. Got it. What I would later learn is that Tony would get in the ambulance, he would shut the door, and he'd look at his partner and goes, that dad's not going to see his kid alive by the time we get to the med center. He's not going to make it. Praise the Lord, Tony was wrong. We get to the med center, they wheel him in, they start running different tests on him, we're in the ICU, and they come back, finally a few hours later they go, hey, good news, bad news. Good news, we know what it is. Bad news, we know what it is. He's contracted bacterial meningitis, he's got the worst kind. You'd be lucky if he makes it 48 hours. Okay, so what do? You wait and you pray. So we waited and we prayed. Sunday or Saturday turns into Sunday. It was Super Bowl Sunday here in Houston. It was one of those Tom Brady, when he was, those comeback victories, right? I'll never forget. I watched it on a little screen in Pierce's ICU room. Sunday turns into Monday, and Monday he got a little bit better. So the doctor comes in and goes, hey, listen, he's a little bit better, so we're actually going to move him out of the ICU. We're going to put him into a step-down unit. Well, let's go. I love that. Sounds great, right? Step-down unit sounds fantastic. Let's do it. They wheel him out, and I'll never forget Dr. Music on the way out. He grabs my arm. He'd been our doctor all weekend. He said, hey, Dad, I need you to hear me. I don't think you're out of the woods yet. Right. I'm a hard-driving entrepreneur. I'm an optimistic thinker, right? You tell me there's a problem, we're going to run through the wall, right? So I don't like to hear that. I go, hey, man, I appreciate that, but I think we're good. He goes, hey, I just need you to understand, I don't think you're out of the woods yet. I was like, well, let's just keep that stinking thinking over there, right? But thank you, sir. We go to the 7th floor, Texas Children's. We're there on Monday. Monday turns into Monday night. About 2 a.m. Tuesday morning, a doctor comes in. I always say Texas A&M is one of the reasons that, I always say Texas A&M and Jesus, is one of the reasons Pierce is alive today. This doctor comes in at 2 a.m., young, new doctor. And as any good Aggie does, you see an Aggie ring, you go, did you go to A&M? Right? So she's in there doing her checks. It's 2 a.m. I go, hey, did you go to A&M? My wife's like, really? We're having A&M talk right now? And I'm like, yeah. I got nothing else to talk about. And so I go, did you go to A&M? She goes, I did. And what that conversation did is allowed her to stay in the room about 3 to 5 minutes longer than she was going to. And during that 3 to 5 minutes, Pierce's foot started moving. And she said, has he done that before? I said, I don't think so. She said, I think he's having a seizure. So if he has it again, I'm gonna hit the code red button and we're gonna go back to the ICU. And boom, he did it again. Code red. We go back to the ICU. If you know anything about seizures, if you have one that lasts more than 5 minutes, you're going to sustain some type of brain damage. Pierce seized for 18 hours straight before they put him into a medically induced coma. He was in a coma 12 days. We were in the hospital 75 days. When we left the hospital, we left with a different boy. Pierce is now nonverbal. I haven't heard him talk since February 3rd, 2017. He's deaf in both ears, epileptic, has about 100 seizures a day. Mental capacity, we'll rate that stuff, about a 6-month-old. In a wheelchair, as you saw. He'll live with me the rest of his life. But, he's the happiest boy you'll ever meet. He sees the world the way that you and I need to see the world, and we don't. He doesn't care what skin color you are. He doesn't care how much money you make. He doesn't care what degrees you have or you don't have. He doesn't care what car you drive. Could care less where you live. All he cares about is if you're with him. He just wants to be with you. And we see that through the eyes of a child, the way that we're supposed to live our life. The way that I think the good Lord calls us to view the world. But life's different now. Life's different for us. So what do we do with that, right? What do we do with our life? When I say turned upside down, I had a son I could talk to. I can't talk to him anymore. I've got a son I could play baseball with. I can't play baseball with him anymore. He can't sit up in a chair, much less do anything with me anymore. So 2017 turned into 2018, and my wife and I, we just kind of kept putting one foot in front of the other. Just whatever came the next day, we'd try to figure out. 2018 turns to 2019, and I come home one day, and I say, hey, listen, here's the deal. Now, let's pause here for a second. If anybody's a therapist in here, I already know how you're going to diagnose me, right? You're going to say this is a dad that's grieving, trying to fix the problems at hand, trying to right the wrong, trying to make something meaningful out of a mess, and you would be right. So I don't need the advice afterwards. You would be right. But I came home in 2019, and I just had this desire, this passion in me that said, hey, life is short. Life is sweet. We know that. We've experienced that. I've been to more kids' funerals than I've been to adult funerals from the kids that we met at the hospital. We need to seize this opportunity to find something where we could bring people together, where they could escape the world for a second and just be together. She said, okay, so what are we going to do? I said, I'm glad you asked. I said, go with me here for a second. Remember who I married, okay? Remember, all right? I said, I got it. We're going to build a theme park. And she said, what? I said, that's right. We're going to build a theme park. What are we going to do with this theme park? Glad you asked. We're going to let kids operate real construction equipment. She's like, you need to go see somebody. I said, no, go with me here. Pierce has always loved construction equipment. He's always loved garbage trucks and dump trucks and everything like that. What if we actually let kids and their parents operate real construction equipment? She's like, there are so many things that follow that statement, right? I'm like, I know, but just stop there for a second. Let's dream crazy dreams. Because in that moment, it cost me nothing, maybe a little bit of sanity check in my wife's mind, but it cost me nothing to dream a ridiculously crazy dream. So my challenge to you is dare to dream because it's free. My second point, operate out of imagination, not memory. Listen, memory can be a good thing, all right? Memory tells you don't touch the burning stove. Like, we know that, right? Like, we don't do those things again that hurt us. But memory also plays a major role in your life, whether you know it or not. And probably for the worse in your life. You want to go get a new promotion. What goes off in your head? Man, I had that boss at one time that told me I wasn't good enough to do that job. So you know what? I'll just wait. Man, what if I could do this? Oh, you know what? I had that professor, this MBA program that I did at A&M that said that was a dumb idea. Or that I'm not that smart. It won't be him, but it might be another professor. But they shut you down. And so what you do is you put that in the back of your mind, you go, okay, you know what, they're right. You had a parent that told you were weren't good enough. You have a spouse that may have told you weren't good enough. You have a friend that told you the idea is dumb and crazy, and so you just go, okay, that's fair. So memory ends up what shuts you down more than anything. So my challenge is we got to operate out of imagination, not memory. So she said, okay, what are we going to do about building this theme park? So, well, listen, here's the deal. Check the bank account. We don't have a couple $1 million. So I need to go raise money. All right? So I'm gonna go raise some money. Listen, I just sat in here for the last little bit of y'all's Q&A. I thought I was gonna throw up from PTSD hearing questions about raising capital. It just makes me all heebie-jeebie because where we're going with the story next. But she said, okay, great. How long is it gonna take you to raise some money? I guesstimated I need to raise like $2 million. And remember, I've never spent a day in the theme park business, right? I was a janitor before this. So we're flying blind here. She said, okay, go raise $2 million. How long is that gonna take you? I said, no time. It's gonna take me like 6 months. She's like, all right, sounds good. She didn't know, I didn't know. I need you to hear me on this. 248. 248 meetings that told me no before I got a yes. 248 times that I sat across from somebody, I pleaded my heart out, I pleaded my case out, I pleaded the business plan out, all of the things. I can answer any question you wanted me to answer, and they'd still say no. I'd go home. She'd go, how'd it go? I said no. So what are we gonna do? I got another meeting tomorrow. And many times I'd get in the car at 5 a.m. I'd drive to Dallas for a 10 a.m. coffee. By 10:30, I've already gotten my no. What do you do then? Got to find somebody else to say no, right? 248. 248 different times that told me to stop. And we kept going because imagination and conviction told us to keep going. So we finally got a yes. Then we get another yes. And then it snowballs into another yes. Finally, we've raised the money. So guys, we're gonna open a theme park. We're gonna open a theme park that lets kids and adults operate real construction equipment. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna build it and we're gonna open it. March 17th was our grand opening date, March 17th, 2022. I'd love to tell you that it was a great day. Listen, there's two people. I'm a theme park expert now. I didn't take a class, I just self-proclaimed. There's two people in the theme park world that have disastrous documented grand openings. Jacob Robinson and Walt Disney. I keep good company. Jacob Robinson and Walt Disney had disastrous grand openings. Guys, March 17th, this is what I've been working for 4 years. It went so bad that day that we shut it down in the middle of the day. Not like, hey, sorry, we'll see y'all tomorrow, it's too crazy. Closed. I don't know when, if ever, we're gonna open again. It was that bad. A lot of issues went into that, mostly my mistakes. These are headlines from that day. New Katy Theme Park, Dig World closes for second grand opening. Dig World closes due to machine capacity. Will hold re-grand opening. Guys, that is a picture from a helicopter. That's how many people were paying attention to our grand opening. It's also how many people pay attention to our grand closing. All those people that ran an article the next day about how we closed. And I'd love to tell you in that moment, I went home that night and I said, we'll overcome, it'll be fine. Everybody has hiccups. This happened to Walt Disney. We'll be good to go. That'd make a much better keynote if I could tell you the resiliency of going home that night and saying I crushed it. But I didn't. I went home that night. Melissa will tell you there's 2 times in our life that she thought she lost me. One was in the hospital and one was that night. She just looked at your eyes and I thought you were gone. Thought the drive was gone, thought the ambition was gone, thought it was gone. I was crushed. And I was crushed because I was embarrassed. Yeah, that's part of it. But really, I was crushed because memory, all that started playing in my head was 248 people that told me no. And all that went off in my head was, Jacob, it took you less than 12 hours to prove them right. You proved them right. Not only did you prove them right, but you proved them right in a public fashion. You proved them right that'll follow you for the rest of your life. Job well done. So memory says just shut it down. Just said walk away, tail between your legs, move cities, say I'm sorry, just leave, right? That's what memory says do. That's what's percolating in your mind when I challenge you to dream crazy dreams. You go, yeah, Jacob, you don't get it, but. Yeah, Jacob, you don't understand this dynamic, yeah, but. Here's the deal. Cancel that out. Finish the sentence for me, right? What if? So I went home. The next day I woke up. Felt this prompting. I said, you need to get back in the office. We went back to the office. We called every single customer. And we said, we're sorry. And we just tried to put one foot in front of the other. And just to keep going to the next day. We tried to rebook those birthday parties. We tried to rebook those field trips. We tried to regain the customer's trust. Listen to me. When we started our business, that weekend, we were a 1.7 Google rating. Do you know how hard you have to work to be that bad? That means grandmas weren't giving me 2 stars. All right? Everybody gave me a 1 star. That's how bad it was. So we slowly built that up over time. I'm proud to say we went from 1.7, we're back to 4.6. We built that up over the last 4 years, but somewhere in the middle, I get an email one day. Sit at my desk, life is good, the business is stable, we figured out how to make money, we're moving on. I get this email. Jacob, we'd love to have you on season 16 of Shark Tank. Please call me. Delete. Clearly a phishing email, right? Next day, I'm sitting at my desk. Jacob, this is Ashley, season 16 of Shark Tank. We'd love for you to be on the show. Would you please call me? My cell is below. Yeah. No, delete.
It's a click.
2 reasons I was deleting it. 1, was convinced it was spam. 2, why would I want to go on a TV show after I spent years getting told no? Why would I want to go on a TV show where these 5 people are going to rip me on national television for no good reason, for my daughter to grow up as her dad is a living TikTok meme? Why would I do that? Memory says, just walk away, man. Just walk away. It is good right now. You have survived. You are beginning to thrive. Just walk away. So the next day I get another email. Jacob, this is Ashley. We would really like to get a hold of you. Fine. Ashley, this is Jacob. Jacob, finally, we've been trying to get a hold of you. Hey, we'd love to have you on season 16 of Shark Tank. So what do you mean by that? I said, I don't want to go through, I said, I'm not better than. I just don't want to. I don't want to go through the whole audition. I don't want to have to think about this. I didn't ask for this. I don't want this. What do you mean just be on the show? No, listen, you're going to skip all of that. You're just going to go straight to the front of the line. If you say yes, we're just going to put you on the show. We're going to film in September. What show is this? She's like, Shark Tank, the one you've seen for years now. We'd love to have you on the show. I said, how'd you find us? She said, we've been watching you on Instagram. We've been watching the website. We've been watching from afar. We think it's a perfect time for you to come on and pitch this idea. I said, well, I got to talk to my wife about it. Right? Here's the deal. When you're married to somebody amazing like my wife, you know she's risk and change adverse. You can pin a lot of things on her, right? So then I can go and I go, hey, well, I was going to do it, but Melissa said I can't do it, right? As any good husband should, right? So I go in the kitchen and I say, hey, babe, you're not going to believe who just called. She got a phone with Shark Tank. They want me to be on the show. She stopped. She's at the dishwasher. I never forget. She goes, you said yes, right? I said, no, I didn't say yes. Were you not living here in 2019, 2020 when I tried to raise money from 248 people? I said no. Why would I want Mark Cuban to rip me on national television or Mr. Wonderful to just destroy me? Why would I want to do that? Why would you not want to do that? What happens if you go on the show and they say yes? What happens if you get to go on the show and you get to tell them about Pierce and we get to go build more theme parks? Yeah, I didn't think about that part. Because that's imagination. And if we were to sit in imagination for a second, we do sit there and we go, oh yeah, maybe I can convince one of them to say yes. All I need is one. Maybe I get a chance to tell them about my son. Maybe I get to speak to somebody out there that's listening one day. Maybe we could actually go build another theme park. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, let's do that. Operating out of imagination, not memory, is where you start to thrive. So as you're sitting in this program over the next couple of years, as you're sitting at work, as you're percolating on that idea or that promotion, or just this, again, just this hobby you want to do, or being a parent or spouse, whatever it may be, please, just for an exercise, put memory aside. Get rid of all the crappy excuses. And said, but what if? Third point, final point, walk with elephants. A mentor of mine, he told me one time, he said, Jacob, you got to walk with elephants. I said, cool, what's that mean? He said, you got to find big people doing big things and you got to walk with them. So that's what we tried to do. We went on the show. We did get a deal. We got a deal with Robert Herjavec on the show. Only got one yes. That's all we needed, right? We got a yes from Robert Herjavec. So we started to build our other theme parks. What that imagination allowed us to do is start to walk with some serious elephants. And so as a company, we've gotten to dream crazy dreams because we've asked. So we've done a national partnership with Caterpillar. Guys, this is crazy. This is crazy. Caterpillar has 3 national partnerships. Major League Baseball, the NHL, and Dig World. Which one doesn't it belong, right? Like, that's crazy. That's the CEO of Caterpillar right there in the hard hat in the middle. The global CEO came to our ribbon cutting, or excuse me, our groundbreaking. He's come to our ribbon cutting. He is so bought into this idea of Dig World. That's Dude Perfect right there. Some of you know the Dude Perfect. Some of your kids know Dude Perfect. Those guys are partners of ours. We're the first themed attraction that has a full-on Dude Perfect section. So if you come to our new park in Dallas that we just opened, you're going to do Dude Perfect trick shots off construction equipment. Because we dreamed crazy dreams, we operate out of imagination and said, but what if these guys say yes? They may say no, but what if they said yes? And they did. Now we're on a warpath to build 10 more parks in the next 5 years. Like I said, we just opened our second park in Dallas this past month, and it's been crazy. And I look back as I tell this story, and I go, man, if I could tell that kid in 2019, hey, listen, that meeting was brutal. You feel terrible. But I promise you, the story gets better. That's what I'd like to tell you today. And I don't know where you're sitting in your life. I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know that personally and professionally, academically, whatever it may be. I don't know. But I want to encourage you with, if you could finish writing this story, you're going to look back and you're going to go, man, that was worth it. It was worth it. It'll be even more worth it if you dream crazy dreams, you live in imagination, and you walk with elephants. God bless and gig 'em.